Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanitrambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namaha. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namaha. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Shri Hanumanji Maharaj Ki Jai. Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 30th of July 2025 by the grace of Shri Radhika Ji and Bhagwan Sri Krishna Paramatma and all the Guru Parampara that is present throughout the world. May here Sachin here offer prostrations. I offer prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagwan residing in the heart of every being. We are on day number 30. Can you imagine that? This entire month has gone completely on one subject, that is Prem-Lakshana Bhakti, and the inspiration is such by the grace of Shri Radhika Ji to continue on this subject for the end, all the way through to the end of this year. It is so fantastic, so beautiful. Everything is covered in that. And it is most important for all of us, especially the speaker here, Sachin, that's just a name for the body, but that, to realize the Satyam, Param Satyam, Dhimahi, to realize Bhagavan, to realize the Atman, to evolve into Bhakti by the grace of God, right? So these are our desires. We cannot live in this world without desire. Everybody has desire. But the difference is between Sadvasana and Asadvasana. Sadvasana meaning the desire, the wanting to realize God, wanting to have God realization. That is called Sadvasana. So if you mix the two words, combine the two words, Sat plus Vasana means Sadvasana. Vasana means desires. And Asadvasana are desires that are taking us in 1,000 directions, disturbing life and all that kind of stuff. That is called Asadvasana, the Shadripu and all those faults. That is a different path. That's not a path anywhere. That is a path only into the Brahmand back again, cyclical path, right? So there's two paths. Let's be clear about this and then we will get to our subject today. There are two paths. One path is of devotion. One path is of bhakti, jnana, the adhyatmic path in general, that takes us out of the Brahmand. Takes who out of the Brahman? The Atma Tattva. The Atma Tattva is then released from the entanglements of Mahamaya. So that is one path. Another path is back into the 14 lokas again and again and again and again. Right? So sometimes as animals, sometimes as birds and trees, sometimes as human beings, sometimes as devatas. All of that, there's a whole range from Brahmalok all the way down to the, to the lowest lokas. Svarga, Mrityu, Patal. In the 14 lokas are sometimes classified in three parts. Svargalok, Mrityulok, Patal-lok. And then they're divided further into 14 lokas. Okay. Now having said all of this, again, when a bhakta sets the destination for akhanda bhakti, unbroken bhakti, first of all, setting that destination is a very, very big thing. That's not a small thing. Sorry about the noise, there's a truck outside. Setting that destination, Dheyo Narayano Hari, as I mentioned last several days, that's a big thing. Now, we want to take this a bit further, and this is going to get a little bit more metaphysical, and I'm going to try to explain it as clearly as possible by the grace of Bhagwan Krishna and Radhika Ji, but it is quite advanced what we're going to start talking about here. And I'll try to speak at different levels here because these things can get very, very tricky to talk about. If you remember this paragraph we were looking at some days back about the groundwork, the eternal groundwork of the Nitya Vraj Bhumi. So in the metaphysics of Shri Vaishnava tradition, of the Vaishnava tradition, Gaudiya Parampara, particularly we're looking at that, and it's an analysis of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. Gaudiya meaning from the region of Bengal. From that region, there is the Parampara of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji. Right? So there's many saints who have come in that parampara, and we're specifically looking at their interpretation, their realization, their teaching, and it's an analysis of their scriptures, of those scriptures. So that's why, but we need to do that if we want to really understand Prema Bhakti and to actually move into Prema Bhakti, if that is our goal. All right, so having said that, I'm going to read this paragraph again. There are 5 paragraphs here, and this might take us, I have no idea how much time it'll take us, but whatever it will, let's go through it carefully. Within the metaphysics of the Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, this is an analysis. Sandhini Shakti, which is what? The existential potency that sustains spiritual being. It operates as the primordial architect of the Nitya Vrajbhumi, the eternal manifested realm of Vraja. Let's look at that sentence. What is Nitya Vrajbhumi? There's Vrajbhumi here in India, in this world. There's Kashi here. There is Vrindavan here. There's Vraj here. There are temples with names of Vraj and all that. So is that Nitya Vrajbhumi? So let's talk about that for a moment. This is a fascinating question, and there's actually a Vachanamrut on this subject itself. Shriji Maharaj, Swaminarayan Bhagwan, उन्होंने इस point पर भी बात लिखी है. That what about these places here? You have Kashi and Vrindavan, for example, here on this planet. And then you have Nitya Kashi, Nitya Vrindavan, Nitya Vraja. So उसमें क्या फर्क है? What is the difference? So there's many ways to understand this. One way to understand is that the manifested leelas that are done here in this planet, in Golok, in Gokul, in Mathura, in Vrindavan, Bhagwan Krishna ki jya leela hui hai. There are big temples, and wo sab tirth stan ban gaye, right? In the Bharatvarsh, in the Sanatan Dharma. And then there are temples all over the world also. So what do we make of that? Why is that relevant? Well, those are the places where the human manifestation of that which is not human, that tattva, that is Divya tattva of Radha and Krishna, and we'll stay focused on them, they manifested in human form here in Manushya avatar. They took a human form. They're not human being, actually. Even we're not really human. We are human. We're having a human experience. We are Chaitanyam. So that is Parabrahman and the Adya Shakti. So they are coming here in manifested form, and whatever action they perform, like in the places where Radhika Ji's Leela is there. There are so many places, but particularly Bhagwan Krishna and Radhika Ji's Leela, wherever it is done, it is called Leela because it is non-material action. It is material action in the material world, but it is a play. It is a divine play. Like in Barsana Dham jisko kehte hain. Barsana is a place where Radhika Ji's Leela is there. You see, Bhagwan Ramchandra Ji ki Leela hai Ayodhya mein and throughout India like this. Isko Leela kehte hain. So we should understand this point first. What is Leela? When they manifest here, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna, even Shiv Ji ke bhi bahut avatar hai. And then great saints have come from, or as liberated beings have come. When they perform action, whatever action they perform is called Leela. Now it is not karma. Leela meaning divine play that has the impact of liberating millions of Jivatma. That is why in the Gita chapter 4, Bhagwan Krishna himself stated, Janma karma chame divyam evam yobeti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti saurjuna. So, there's a very, very beautiful point to keep in mind, that the actions performed by Bhagwan Krishna, the Janma karma, meaning the manifestation here, the actions performed here are what? Divyam. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvatah. Understand the Leela from a tattva point of view. And this is where this entire point of the Nitya Vraj Bhumi comes into the picture, because that is talking about the divine abode. The divine abode of Goloka has within it Nitya Vraj Bhumi. And here in this world, yes, we can believe that. It's a belief, it's a nishta that what is here is there. You follow? So for example, when we have a Krishna temple here, anywhere in the world, the belief, the nishta, the bhakti is such that we are stepping into Nitya Vrajbhumi. That bhav needs to come. That it is the eternal manifested realm of Vraja. Now, jab samadhi hoti hai, if you go into prema samadhi, you can actually see, by the grace of God, you can see that divine place. But that is the destination of the liberated beings. So if those of us who are devotees of Sri Krishna Bhagwan Ishtadev hai, Bhagwan Krishna Ishtadevata hai, और उनके पास ही रहना है, उनकी जो सब लीला है उसका रस लेना है, then that rasa begins here. So all of the leelas that are done by Bhagwan Krishna, they are accepted as absolutely real, and they are meditated upon again and again and again. The Govardhan Leela, the Ras Leela, the Partha Sartha Leela, where he is in the chariot and teaching the Gita. There are so many leelas are like that, and they are then remembered again and again with a tremendous amount of love here. And when we do that, that is where the opening into the Nitya Vraj Bhumi actually begins to happen in Prema Samadhi. Abhi ye kya hai? What is this Prema Samadhi? Well, when bhakti increases, as the 9 forms of devotion increase, they begin to steadily grow. Eventually that breakage opens, that opening by the grace of Haladini Shakti, by the grace of Radha ji, Kishori ji, inko Kishori ji bhi kehte hai in certain parts of India. You know, they may not even say, they take the name of Radha, they say Kishori ji, out of respect and love. So that's fine, whatever suits you, it's alright. ठीक है? The point is that when there is constant दिव्यता, हमारे जीवन में जब अखंड दिव्यता आती है, अखंड भक्ति, अनब्रोकन भक्ति, कितनी बड़ी बात है ये. Meaning, while we are awake, 9 forms of devotion continue without friction. Please, this is very practical and very applicable. If we want to understand just this one paragraph, this is the background. Otherwise, it'll just be some intellectual thing. We don't want that to happen. To really experience Nitya Vraj Bhumi, the 9 forms of devotion are taking place. The 9 forms of devotion are taking place without any intra-psychic friction. I hope this is clear. See, remember in our Angel Wing program, which is foundational, I strongly recommend listening to the PTP recordings and other things in Angel Wing, because that is all basic to all of this. You know, this cannot even ever happen until that is first understood and we actually start living in a non-frictional state. If we are living with friction, with distortion, with conflicts and all those kinds of things going on, there's no chance of Prema Bhakti ever opening. We just keep revolving between sadhana, between different types of sadhana, and this sansarik asakti. Isko kya kehte hai? It's a pendulum. On the one hand, sometimes a lot of devotion is there towards God. This is good, nothing wrong with this. But it is not what we want to. We don't want to be stuck in this pendulum, in this polarity between bhakti and asakti. Asakti maybe is a Gujarati word. I don't know if it's a Hindi or Bengali or Marathi word or not. Asakta. Maybe it is a Marathi word. I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe there's another word. But in Gujarati we say asakta thau, sansar ma asakta thau. You're becoming entangled inside the sansar. Isko asakti kehti hai. So asakti versus bhakti. Now you see, this is a serious problem. Even people who are sadhus and tyagis and sannyasis and all those kinds of things, maybe they may be in organizations. I don't want to give the examples. There are so many who are stuck inside this pendulum effect. They do. Sometimes you feel a lot of devotion, bhakti, Gita padna, ye karna hai, wo karna hai. Aisa bhi ho sakta hai. But it doesn't remain. It doesn't last. It remains for some time, and then the mind swings back into bhog, into sansarik entanglement. संसार में तो रहना ही है, पर संसार में निर्बंध स्थिति में रहना है. इसीलिए ज्ञान और वैराग्य और धर्म का बेस होना चाहिए. स्वामीनारायण भगवान, उनका एक नाम है एकांतिक धर्म प्रवर्तक. उनके जीवन में उन्होंने क्या किया? सजानंद स्वामी महाराज जी, उन्होंने क्या किया? उन्होंने ये इसका प्रवर्तन किया. ही इम्प्लीमेंटेड धर्म, ज्ञान, वैराग्य एंड भक्ति. Why these four? It is to protect bhakti, to prevent this swinging back and forth between bhakti and asakti. That swinging has to stop, and it will happen. It might happen for many months, it might happen for many years, it might happen for many lifetimes. Then that swinging back and forth is what is called yoga bhrashta. Bhrashta means one is not successful. Bhrashta means one is not successful, one has fallen off into the sansaric, into the material entanglement. And when one falls into that material entanglement, rebirth occurs. Punarapi jananam. But Bhagwan Krishna kya kehte? Whatever development has happened spiritually will continue from the next birth. And this can go on until it's all finished. Now we have a choice. I've mentioned this before many times. I'll mention it again because of its extreme importance. We have a choice right now, today. Do we want to go into millions of many births? Bahunam janmanam ante. Jnanavanam prapade. Do we want to go through that mess or end it here? Just stay with the will of Sri Krishna. 100% connect with Paramatma. There is no middle ground in this. Either we connect with Paramatma or we don't, or we swing back and forth. That's the only two possibilities. A third possibility is to leave the bhakti path and then just be drowned in the world, as most people are. Just drown. Sansara dava nala nidaloka. That beautiful verse is there. The whole sansar is just drowning inside rag, dvesh, kam, krodh. Isme reh sakte, kichad mein. Three paths are there. Path number 1, which is the topmost, Bhagwan ke saath unbroken connection, Bhagwan ke saath purna joda, in 100% link. That I want, this Atma needs to be connected with Paramatma, and that's it. And we do our duty, wishing well for all, and the way out of the Brahmand is opened by the grace of God, called Archi Marg. Garada Pratham 21 Vachanamrut, 21 Vachanamrut, Archi Marg. Maharaj kehte hai, Archi Marg means it's the path of light. Do we want that path of light out of Agnan, out of ignorance, out of Rag, Dvesh, Aham, Mamatva, Klesh? Isme se bahar nikalna hai. The sansar is going to continue exactly the way it is. People are trying to improve the world. Improve yourself. Don't worry about improving the world. Serve the world. Don't keep the improvement of the world on your head. It's not going to improve. It cannot improve by its nature. We have to improve and evolve out of it. That's the difference. That's why Bhagwan Krishna in the Gita, look at chapter 15 in the Gita. He says, wish well for the world. Sarva bhuta hite rata. Work in the world as a karma yogi. But don't take that burden of trying to improve the world. The world cannot be improved by the ahankar, by the me. It will keep shifting the way in the three gunas of Maya. That's all it is. That's all that has ever happened. That's all that will ever happen. There's nothing new that is going to happen in any of it. The only thing that is new is for us, for devotees, to develop devotion, ask Paramatma and Radhika ji for blessings, and to find a way, tat padam parimargitavyam, that divine path out of the cycle of birth and death. कितनी बड़ी बात है ये. किसको ज्ञान है इस प्रकार का? There are, of course, many beautiful sanstha's and organizations throughout Sanatana Dharma that are talking about this, and they are, the number of people are not that many who understand these things, or maybe they do, but to really adopt it genuinely. In Gujarati again we say sacha bhakta banu, sacha mumukshu banu. That's what Shankaracharya ji said. We talked about it when we were looking at Vivek Chudamani. We'll definitely get back to that. But he said it very clearly, right? It is very rare. The mumukshutvam is rare. Durlabam trayameve tad devanugraha hetukam. Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. This mumukshu bhav, the desire to be completely liberated 100% is extraordinarily rare, and even that tivra mumukshutvam happens by devanugraha hetukam, by the grace of Bhagwan Krishna and Radhika ji. उनकी कृपा से होता है. कृपा किस पर होती है? सीधी बात है ना. Think about it this way. कृपा किस पर होती है? जिसको कृपा चाहिए. We always say, Bhagwan, why doesn't God bless everybody? God is always blessing everybody. Why doesn't God liberate everybody? The liberation is available. We don't, it's a process to go through. If we want it, it is available. So by Bhagavat Krupa, by Santa Krupa, something extraordinary really happens. And that is that we evolve into 100% Purna Bhakta. कितनी सुंदर ऐसा जीवन मिल जाएगा हमारा, ऐसा जीवन बन जाएगा. इससे बड़ी क्या बात है जीवन में? कोई बात नहीं है इससे बड़ी. We do all of our duties in the world. In the Angel Wing program, we talk about the 12 dimensions of life. Yes, we all have them. Revolve around them without any friction. That's all. Very easy to say. To do that is a different matter. We have them. Live with everyone. But at the same time, simultaneously evolve into Akhanda Bhakti, Akhanda Jnana. Don't waste time. Time is being destroyed. Vyartha kalena netavyo bhaktim bhagavato vina. So these are all basic points. Now, again, I don't want to repeat those again and again. I'm just mentioning it again because of its extreme importance. Now, let's go back into this subject here very quickly about the Nitya Vraj Bhumi. The Nitya Vraj Bhumi is what? It is the abode. It is the dham. So when we leave this body, the Jivatma is given a divine body through Sandhini Shakti. And that operates as the primordial architectural power of the Nitya Vraj Bhumi. That is what creates the Vraj Bhumi. So unlike terrestrial geography, meaning this material world, for example, we have North continent, we have the North America, South America, we have the Asian continent. What is all of that? That is terrestrial geography. It is not like that. ऐसा नहीं है वो वहाँ जो दिव्य तत्व है beyond the Agnya Chakra, there is the divine abodes of God. वो कैसे है? Now look at this. So unlike terrestrial geography, the landscape, which is this Nitya Vraj Bhumi through Sandhini Shakti, it is composed of Chid Dravya, conscious substance that is self-luminous, self-delighting, and perpetually responsive to the emotional cadence of Sri Krishna. Let's look at this line carefully. The Bhumi, it is not like this kind of Bhumi. It is Chaitanyam. It is Chid Dravya. Dravya meaning substance, but not physical substance like this. वो conscious substance है. It is called Chid Dravya. Amazing. And it is self-luminous. The word for that is called Swayam Jyoti. हाँ, ये बहुत सुंदर शब्द है. आत्मा is also स्वयं ज्योति. भगवान की धाम की जो भूमि है वो भी स्वयं ज्योति है और भगवान स्वयं ज्योति है. अभी ये भी पॉइंट let's talk about that. I'm telling you, each one of these words is filled with amazing stuff. Swayam Jyoti means not lit by the light of another. That's the difference. ये जो सूर्य नारायण है, सूर्य प्रकाश, that is not Swayam Jyoti. It seems like it is, but it's not really. सूर्य का प्रकाश भगवान की धाम की शक्ति से आता है. इसीलिए वो सूर्य नारायण, वो नारायण का ही एक अवतार है, पर वो स्वयं ज्योति नहीं है. स्वयं ज्योति, self luminous. It is light that is eternal. It is Sat Chit Ananda. Again, this word Jyoti, again, this is just a word that is used to give an indication of the Tattva, the Brahma Tattva. ये सब ब्रह्म तत्व का ही सब स्वरूप है. ब्रह्मन meaning Sat Chit Ananda, Akshara Brahma, Para Brahma का ही सब स्वरूप है ये. It is beyond the three gunas of Maya. It is beyond the material energy. Because the material energy is Bahiranga Shakti. And the Atma Tattva, the Jiva is Tatastha Shakti. वो भी भगवान की ही एक शक्ति है. And the substance of the Atman is the same as the substance of the Nitya Vraj Bhumi. It is self-luminous substratum. and it is the same, and the tattva that is Parabrahman, unka bhi tattva self-luminous hai. That is also Swayam Jyoti. The difference, now this is actually described, again you come back to Vachanamrut, you see how advanced Vachanamrut is. Vachanamrut mein Maharaj kehte ki iska sab prakash, there's nobody, it doesn't matter how evolved one may be, can differentiate in the Jyoti of these lights between the Jyoti of the Atma Tattva, the Brahman and the Parabrahman, the Sandhini Shakti. How do you differentiate? It is so intense. It all looks the same. But when the Jivatma is given a liberated body in Goloka, Vaikunta, Shvetadvipa, Badrik Ashram and or Akshardham, वहाँ सब ऐसी भूमि है, वहाँ this self-luminous bhumi, by the grace of Parabrahma, that Mukta can see the difference in the intensity of this Jyoti. That the Atma Tattva ka light कैसा है compared to भगवान का धाम का जो प्रकाश है वो कैसा है, भगवान के जो सब मुक्त है उनका शरीर का प्रकाश कैसा है, और भगवान का स्वयं वो जो दिव्य मूर्ति है वो कैसे है. That differentiation between the Atman, Purusha, Prakriti, everything, Muktas, भगवान का धाम, भगवान, ये जो सब differentiation है, the intensity of that differentiation is by the Krupa and only by the Krupa of Parabrahma, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Parabrahma, Paramatma, पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम परब्रह्म जो है, उनकी दया से, कृपा से वो भक्त को वो दान देते हैं ऐसी दृष्टि में, the bhakta can see this difference. Otherwise there is no way for anybody to see that difference, even as liberated beings. I don't know where that came from, or it's just a very super difficult subject to even discuss, but I want to get it recorded because someday it will be useful to somebody. You know, even for us, if we evolve in that stage, हम गुणातीत स्थिति में पहुंच, in Gujarati we say गुणातीत स्थिति में पहुंच गया, भगवान ने दया थी. We have reached beyond the three gunas of Maya. If the bhakta, by the grace of the great sages and Radhika ji, we are out of the three gunas of Maya, extraordinary anubhav hai wahan. Even we're sitting in the Jagrat Avastha का कोई बंधन नहीं है, और अखंड अलौकिक पणु, लोया नंबर 7 वचनामृत, महाराज कहते हैं अखंड अलौकिक पणु रहा करे. Continuous transcendental vision remains while we are awake, while we are talking. सब अलौकिक दिखता है. You go for a walk in a park, you see all the different trees and birds and all, सब गोलोक वृंदावन ही दिखेगा. कैसी बात है ये? Think about this point. We go to parks all the time. We go to walks all the time. Our mind is cluttered with the mess of this sansar, with the asaktis of this sansar, with rag, dvesh, klesh. वो तो सब trash है. उसका कोई स्थान ही नहीं है. As long as any of that trash is there, none of that is going to ever. I mean, it will just prevent this from happening. That's why Maharaj भी कहते हैं वचनामृत में कि हमारे तल मात्र पर हमारा भक्तों में कसर रेवा देवी नथी. We don't want even this deficiency in the amount of a sesame seed to remain inside the heart. Shriji Maharaj Vachanamrut mein kehte. Think about this. People who are going to Swaminarayan temples, there are so many Swaminarayan temples all over the world. उनका मेन टीचिंग क्या है कि हमारा अंतःकरण एकदम ब्यूटीफुल बन जाए, पवित्र बन जाए. सब महापुरुष का एक ही टीचिंग है. ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज का क्या टीचिंग है इन द ज्ञानेश्वरी? Same thing. What did Ramakrishna Paramans teach? Same thing. Satya to ek hi teaching hai. And their life is like that. They're trying at different times to awaken this state where we can see the sansar as the Vraj Bhumi. Aha, abhi ye kya baat hai? What is that? How is that possible? It is. It is possible when devotion is in Prem-Lakshana state. No more Sattva Gun is there. Shuddha Sattva Gun ka binding hi nahi hai. There is no binding of the Shuddha Sattva Gun. It's gone, obliterated. Gunatitah sa uchyate. गुणों से बाहर निकल गया है भक्त by कृपा. हाँ, ये कृपा से होता है, कोई साधन नहीं है इसके लिए. ये भगवान की असीम दया, कृपा और स्पेशल अनुग्रह तभी होता है भगवान और भगवान के संत, भगवान और भगवान के जो नित्य मुक्त, जो एज राधिका जी जो पराशक्ति, उनकी दया से ही ये होता है. ये हो ही नहीं सकता. देयर इज नो साधना. वन कैन डू एज मच तपश्चर्या, whatever we think we're able to do, we can never go out of शुद्ध सत्व गुण. That is the maximum where sadhana takes us, on the border of the Atman. But to go outside of the binding of the Sattva Gun, Bhagwan ki asim daya, krupa, and the bhakta is evolved into a Jivan Mukta. Oh my gosh, kya amazing baat hai ye. Then, if the bhakti is solid as it should be, you go for a walk in the park, Bhagwan Krishna ke siway kuch nahi dikhega. Golok hai kya? वैकुंठ, where is वैकुंठ, गोलोक, श्वेतद्वीप, अक्षरधाम, बद्रिकाश्रम, ये सब दिव्य धाम जो पर जो है, महाराज कहते हैं इन वचनामृत, सारंगपुर 10 वचनामृत, अंतर्दृष्टि थी अणु मात्र पण छेटू नथी. फ्रॉम इंटरनल विजन, फ्रॉम दिस इनर रियलाइजेशन, यू आर राइट देयर. यू आर सिटिंग इन द अबोर्ड ऑफ गॉड राइट नाउ. थिंक अबाउट दिस पॉइंट. द धाम ऑफ गॉड, द अबोर्ड ऑफ गॉड. गुणातीतानंद स्वामी कहते हैं कि बाह्य दृष्टि थी लाख घणું છેટું છે. From external vision, it's so far beyond you'll never be able to reach. But from inner vision, from internal bhakti, from internal realization, anu matra pan chetu nathi. It is, we are not away from that even for an atomic particle, not even the distance of an anu, meaning an atom. We are right in it. अभी ये बहुत अमेजिंग बात. इट्स ऑलरेडी 8:48. That one paragraph we're looking at, that can take us the next 2-3 months. Whatever is the will, it's okay. We have to watch some timing here. Anyway, भगवान की दया से ऐसा सब सत्संग रोज, every single day we're having this satsang. May Bhagwan Krishna, Radhika ji bless everyone. May everybody's health remain good. May everybody's family structure remain very solid. सब में भक्ति आ जाए, सब में वृत्ति बहुत शुद्ध बन जाए. And please remember, every Friday we're doing Shri Suktam at my place. People living locally are welcome to come. If you're not living locally, you're still welcome to come. I'll be starting a bit early, around 8:30 or so, because of the heat and all that, because we do the havan in the garage area. 15 times Shri Suktam. Usually start with some other mantras, Lakshmi Rudayam and other things. It's all Mahalakshmi ji ki puja hai, so that there are no obstacles. And in fact, the grace of Mahalakshmi comes in our life, so that enough vaibhav and everything is there, so that there is no obstruction in bhakti. Bhukti or mukti connect together. That is the reason behind that. You, from my heart, I offer my prostrations to all of you. And with that, with that, let's do the closing mantra. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namostute Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Vicha Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Saha Jvalaya Jvalaya Jvala Jvala Prajvala Prajvala Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Vicha Jvala Ham Sam Lam Ksham Phat Swaha Om Durge Durge Rakshani ठा ठा स्वाहा. ओम श्रीम ह्रीम श्रीम कमले कमलाले प्रसिद्ध प्रसिद्ध. ओम श्रीम ह्रीम श्रीम श्री महालक्ष्मी नमः. ओम श्रीम श्रीये नमः. ओम श्रीम श्रीये नमः. ओम श्रीम श्रीये नमः. ओम ह्रीम स्वाहा. ओम वामे यस्य सिता राधा श्रीश्च यस्य अस्ति बक्षसि वृंदावन विहारं तं श्रीकृष्णं हृदि चिन्ते. ओम निजात्मानं ब्रह्मरूपं देहत्रय विलक्षणं विभावितेन कर्तव्या भक्तिः कृष्णस्य सर्वदा. ओम श्री राधा कृष्णाय नमो नमः. ओम परब्रह्मणे नमः. श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. ओम ह्रीम स्वाहा.